Say it with me now, friends. I am getting too old for this shit. Oh, man. Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show, powered by BetUS, where, oh, man, we were on the verge of disaster. We were hanging off the cliff. Quite literally, we were dangling. I was going through the emotions of how I was going to respond to this game. It was basically going to be like I'm not conceding the season, no, but I was going to be like I'm conceding that, like, okay, things are wrong right now. Things are wrong, and there needs to be some fixing going on. That is, and like the whole finding a new identity thing, the new team, new year, reestablishing the culture, all that stuff. Like we would have officially hit something more than a bump in the road, more than a speed bump. This would have been like, oh wait, we've fallen in a ditch. How the F do we get out? And as he has done many times, many times over the last 2+ years, and as he will do many more times over the course of his tenure with the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson pulled us out. Now, that will go down. That actually, it's funny, for as great as he has been over his 2+ years, there aren't that many, like, final seconds of the game clutch shots that he has to his resume. Lots of big baskets in the final 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 minute of a game. Doesn't have that many of those. And so for him to get that one in that spot when his team, I don't know, did they desperately need it? I know I desperately needed it. I know a lot of people watching this game, this post game, desperately needed it. Just, you can't say enough about the stones that it took to take it, but we know that he has those. And then obviously the ability to make it. So this is a happy night. It's a happy night because you escaped. It's a happy night because you didn't let disaster strike. And it's a happy night because I think they're like every game, even if they wouldn't have won that, eventually, maybe not tonight, but eventually we would have gotten around to talking about some of the good things they did, because again, it's not like they're not doing good things. It's not like they're doing real good stuff. But it's also impossible, as excited and happy as I am to be sitting here and talking about a win, it is impossible to escape the reality of what we just witnessed, which is the Knicks. I don't really know what's worse, giving up what did it get up? Did it get up to 22 or was it 21? 21 I have is the biggest lead. Giving up a 21-point lead at home to a team that had I know, look, the Nets are spunky, no pun intended, Fred. I eventually came around and picked their over, much to the chagrin of Andrew Claudio before the season. I was like, this is a competent basketball team. It doesn't matter. Like, I know they were 5-7 before tonight, and they had some quality wins, some real genuine quality wins, and their coach challenged them after the last game, and Cam Thomas was on just the absolute heater of all heaters tonight, to the point where we'll talk about the defense that was played on him or not played on him. Like, that dude was having one of those nights where I'm not really sure that anything that anyone was going to do short of just a straight double and challenging other people to beat you, which again, we talk about whether they should have done that more often. It was going to make a difference. Like, I know all that. You don't, if you're a serious team, you don't blow a 21-point lead at home to that team. You just don't. Which is why right now, I think the fairest thing that we could say about the Knicks, despite the fact that they had that win, and again, my Lord, am I breathing easy that they had it. the Knicks right now are not a serious team, or at least they are not a serious contender. I do think that there is some of the DNA still from last season. That doesn't completely evaporate. Like there is certainly a seriousness in them. That's being a little too harsh. But right now, with where they are and the challenges that they are seeming to face every night, I mean, this is not a hot take. They're not a contending team right now. They don't look close to a contending team right now. The challenge continues to be, and I will, as difficult as it is with some of these games and some of these things that are happening in these games, the challenge will continue to be to preach some modicum of patience. Now, Benji Ritholtz got on at the beginning of the Bulls post game, and he said he was getting ready to like sound the alarm, and then they made the comeback and they lost in a heartbreaking fashion, but it pulled him off the ledge. Again, this game was the opposite. This game, you weren't down by 22 points. You were up by 21 points, and you let it slip away. I think the fact that they were missing, and I've been talking for 7.5 minutes, and I'm sure people out there are wondering when I'm going to mention the fact that the Knicks were down 2 additional major rotation players. Their second best player, their sixth best player, and then all the way down the line, Precious Achiuwa, Mitchell Robinson, and everybody else. Like, they were missing half a rotation today. It's relevant. It's absolutely relevant. So the fact that they were able to build up a 21-point lead when they weren't like they were hitting some threes, but they weren't even like going crazy from three, but build up a 21-point lead against a competent team with a guy going off like Cam Thomas going off. So that, like, there's positive there. There's positive. There's a real positive. It's why you want to echo the patience. And then you see what happened next. And we could go through some of the possessions as it got down into late fourth quarter and some of the stuff that happened. Oh, I didn't finish my earlier thought. I don't know what's worse, the losing the 21-point lead to the Nets at home, or giving up 40 points in the fourth quarter to the Nets at home, which is why, for as much as there has been a lot of talk about the impact that having Karl-Anthony Towns instead of insert more traditional rim protecting center here, the impact that has had on the offense, and why I think there has been a lot of optimism that they will continue to figure that part of it out, and whether it's scheme wise or, you know, really just scheme wise or just time and chemistry, all that stuff. I think tonight, if anything, you feel a little bit more discouraged because there is no Karl-Anthony Towns to blame this one on. Now, your two centers that played minutes in this game were Jericho Sims and Ariel Hukporti. I know Ariel's going to get a lot of love tonight, as he should. He did some nice things. He had a nice game. He's still a rookie. And Jericho Sims, God love Jericho Sims. There's a reason why Tom Thibodeau had a rookie, the 56th pick in the draft, a rookie in the game to close instead of Jericho Sims. So still dealing with, like, not your ideal center as far as the defense goes. Again, I get it. 40 points at home to the Nets in the fourth quarter is 40 points at home to the Nets in the fourth quarter. It is inexcusable, and it is a yet another reminder that the defensive issues on this team go way past Towns or the drop coverage. Like, these guys are just not on the same page. And Mikal Bridges, thank the good Lord that he had that block at the end. Thank the good Lord that he had that block at the end, because this was another game, and I know he did some nice things he did a lot of nice things on offense. He was an important piece because they don't go up 21 without the night that Mikal Bridges has on the offensive end. The dude finished with 22 points, made 4 of 7 threes, 9 of 17 overall, 22 points on 17 shots. Not great, certainly. It's good. It's fine. But I'm not pinning 40 points on him, to be very clear. I am not pinning 40 points on him. You had a Knick team that was playing that played 3 rookies tonight, in addition to Jericho Sims. In addition to, you want to talk about how depleted they were? They closed with campaign, and you can't even get mad at them for it. I mean, Payne. I mean, I love his quick trigger, but like, oh my Lord, time and a place when he put up that three and it missed. I was like, holy Lord God. But that was his best option to close in that scenario. It was absolutely his best option. I don't begrudge it at all, but that's where this team was at this point with OG Anunoby fouling out. You got to close with your backup point guard and Jalen Brunson together. So, like, there are caveats. There are caveats. I get it. There are caveats. Important caveats. Caveats that you cannot ignore. But when you have an OG Anunoby and you have a Josh Hart and you have a Mikal Bridges, and I understand Anunoby didn't play the final 4:15. And I understand Cam Thomas is doing what he's doing. It just has to be better. It just has to be better. And do I think we are going to be having these same conversations in, 30 games from now? No, I don't. Do I think we're going to be having them 20 games from now? Probably not. Do I think they may continue for another little while longer? Yeah, I do. Because what's going on right now is just, it's not getting fixed overnight. And the one other, and this is, what do they call it? Damning praise. There was absolutely a sense in the final. Well, and this is, if they had lost this game, I wouldn't be talking about the close of the fourth quarter. I'd be talking about when they went up by 21 or 18, whatever it was in the beginning of the fourth quarter, and they so clearly and obviously took their foot off the gas. And like, oh, we got this. Motherfucker, you got this? It's the NBA, man. It's the Nets in your building. You don't think they want to keep, and Cam Thomas is having that night? And all it took was for them to take their foot off the gas for, it was like 2-3 possessions. One of which included, by the way, that Ariel Hukporti jump shot, which was like, dude, no, not okay. There are no such thing as those shots ever, 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 ever on the Knicks. Unless it's a 35-point game and it's 5 minutes left, whatever. Then you do what you want. Not allowed. And they took their foot off the gas, and the Nets got back in the game. And then the Knicks offense for the first time all night, what did it do? It hit a bit of a rough patch. And okay, it's down to whatever, 11. It's down to 9. And all of a sudden, you're in a whatever it is, a 7-point game with 8 minutes left. 7 minutes left. And so then they, they kept getting a little cushion. They kept getting a little pushing. And then it would almost like they would be defending, like, they were never in the fourth quarter the aggressors on defense, except when they fouled. So, I know I'm being very negative. And I feel bad. I know I'm the guy that people come to for the positivity. And I feel bad because I was so excited. But my daughter ran away. I don't know where she went. But I was going to. So, funny moment happened. So, Schroeder hits the shot. And I'm apoplectic. And then Brunson hits the shot. And I let out one hell of my first real yell of the year. And I'm going crazy. And then I hear giggling from under the chair, the other chair in my office. And sure enough, my daughter has been there for I don't know how long, several minutes. And she watched the whole thing. So I wanted to have her on here to attest to that. But I think she ran away. It's okay. It happens. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with the win. And I do think, after you lost the Chicago game and the way you lost it, yeah, I think it was important to get this one. Because it just, you lose too many of these, and it starts to there are tough losses that build character, because whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But you if you too many of them, and then it starts maybe getting in your head a little bit. And then it's like an additional thing you need to overcome, to say nothing of the fact that you're dropping games in the standings. And you're still, I hope, trying to compete for a top 3 or a top 4 seed. Although the way the Knicks are playing, I know the East is a disaster. They got a lot of work to do before they can really start thinking of themselves as that that sort of team. And we'll see if they get there, and let me rephrase that. We'll see if they get there this year, because I think that for me now at this point, and I've had some offline conversations about, with people about how, if at all, have the expectations for this team changed? And to be clear, organizationally, they sure as shit haven't changed. Within the team, I know they haven't changed. And I think Fred, I don't know if he said it. I think he said it on the pod. I hope he said it on the pod. I don't even think he'd care if I'm saying, but I'm pretty sure he said it on the pod that they're not worried, and I don't know that I'd be worried if I were them either. Again, now it's 12 games, but we're getting close to the point where you'd like to be working some of this stuff out. Better to work it out after a win like that than after what would have been, I think this would have been more devastating than the Chicago loss. And actually, I don't even think that, now that I think about it, I don't even think that's close. I think this would have been easily more devastating than the Chicago loss. And thankfully, we don't have to live in a world where they lost this game. All right. I've been talking for 18 minutes. I know I didn't really hit on a lot of the specifics and the nitty gritty. But what I will say, actually, and I'll good opportunity to do the autograph signature moment of the game. Remember, if you want to get rewarded for your fandom, just go download the Autograph app. You could use the link in my bio, or if you just want to download it from your app store, just enter code KFS. They are doing the smartest thing I've ever heard of, which is rewarding fans for doing the stuff that they already do. Reading my newsletter, listen to this podcast, watching me every Monday, give my thoughts on the previous week and the week ahead, doing locker room chats, all kinds of great stuff. They got a bunch of great people providing content over there. So again, go download the Autograph app. The signature moment of the game goes without saying, the Jalen Brunson 3. It is the signature moment of the season thus far. We'll see if we wind up looking back on it. Who knows? That moment, that shot was big enough that we may look back on it and say, oh, imagine if they had lost that game and fallen to 5-7, again, to the Nets at home. Now, they could turn around on Sunday and lose to the Nets on Sunday, and I wouldn't shock me. That's the thing with this team right now, right? And thank you, Autograph, for the signature moment of the game. That's the thing right now. And this is the tough part. There's no game that if you're a Knicks fan, you walk into and be like, okay, we got this one. Now, especially after that comeback. Now, again, didn't bench, didn't have Towns, didn't have McBride. Big losses for the Knicks. They'll get those guys back. It sounds like Precious Achiuwa is making progress. Last thing I'll say before I get to the super chats is this. For as much as there is wrong right now with this basketball team, and I just noticed, by the way, the final score almost identical to the final score the other night with Chicago. That one, I think, was 123-122, if I'm not mistaken, or 124-123, whatever it was. This was 124-122. For all that has been not great, you could hang your hat on 3 things, I think. Number one, I'm not worried about this group in terms of staying together and staying committed to the plan and not getting rattled. I know they're new together. These are veterans. And I think, with this coach and this front office and just the stable, incredible that we're talking about the Knicks as a stable organization and how that stability will come in handy during times like this. But that's number one. Number two, still got one of the best offenses in basketball. And I know that's not everything. Clearly it's not everything because you almost just lost to the freaking Nets. But it's something. And number 3, you got Jalen Brunson. And that, more than anything, that's the most important thing. And Brunson tonight, 37 points on 20 shots. Not to mention 7 assists, 3 turnovers. We'll live with it. Incredible game. It was quiet. It was a quiet game for Jalen Brunson in the way he was going about his business until he needed to get louder. And eventually they got loud with 4 massive plays in the final minutes. Tough finish. Drew a foul, made both free throws, got a tough and one, and then the 3-pointer at the end. It's just what do you say? What do you say? He's Jalen Brunson. That's all that really needs to be said. So thankfully, they have him, and other teams do not.